Hello everybody, my name is Ulrich with You Fix It Auto, and today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be putting the fuel tank that I received with this car into my car. So let's open this baby up and let's get to it. And with the little light, you'll be able to see just how rusted this one is. This car came with all the bolts missing from the fuel tank here.
Well, actually, I think these are them. They're all rusted. We're going to give these bolts a second life. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Must for Rust crud cutter. I'm going to pour it in a little plastic cup. We're just going to put all of our rusty bolts in there and leave them there for 24 hours.
With a vacuum, we're just going to go through and clean up the space a little bit. That'll have it so it doesn't leave any residue on the floor after I take out the fuel tank. You can see just how bad the fuel tank is rusted. It's kind of expected after 50 years of life inside of this car.
With the surface a little bit cleaner, we're going to go underneath and drain the fuel.
Right here where the fuel sending unit is, we have a crimp style hose clamp, so we're going to have to cut that off. And then replace them with new hose clamps. Just work at it until you get it off, just like that. And then just bend it back and wiggle it off until it pops off. With that off, we can now pull on the fuel line and make sure there's a drip pan underneath to catch all that fuel. And then just remove this connector right here by popping it off. And now I'm just going to turn this drain plug counterclockwise until it comes off. I'm going to make sure I have the drip pan ready because this will pour out. Now that it's done dripping, I'm just going to put the drain plug back in. Now here's the new fuel tank that the previous owner left with the car. As you can see, it already has the fuel sending unit already attached and good to go. The only thing that I needed to get for this was this 3M strip caulk in order to adhere the fuel tank in position. And now we are ready to take the old fuel tank out and then prep the surface by vacuuming up all the old rust and dust that is left behind, using a scraper to remove all the old caulk. And next, with the wire brush attachment, we're going to clean up the surfaces a little bit more. I'm just going to make sure that the mounting surface is nice and smooth. And now that the surface is nice and smooth, it's ready for paint.
I'm going to hit it with a coat of self-etching primer. We're going to be using self-etching primer in order to paint over the bare metal spots that we created.
Just light coats, making sure to cover all the bare metal.
While the self-etching primer is drying, we took the bolts out of the crud cutter, and these bolts look basically brand new. And they are also coated with a rust inhibitor in order to protect them from rust for about a year. So these are good to go back in. Next, it's time to attach the strip caulk.
I'm going to take my time with this and make sure that I press down in the corners and make sure that it's all evenly placed. I'm going to press down ever so often in order to get it to stay in place. Make my way to the corners and bend it down since they all come in strips.
I'm going to take this opportunity, since the fuel line is right here, I'm just going to cut this part off.
With that off, I can remove the old fuel hose.
Went to the auto parts store and got some 5/16 inch fuel line and some new hose clamps. We're just going to attach the hose clamps onto the fuel line and tighten it until it just barely touches so that way it doesn't slip off.
Slip that back on. I'm just going to be careful and double check just to make sure the holes line up. I'm going to use a power drill in order to speed up this process a little bit. I was careful by making sure that all the holes lined up before I started attaching screws. Next we attach the hose onto the fuel tank. Once I got it in place, then I just tighten down the hose clamp so that way it doesn't drip. And then I made sure to attach this connector.
Now the fuel tank did come with this hose in order to connect the fuel filler neck, and then these to clamp it down, but unfortunately mine came missing with the fueler neck, and it also came missing with the gasket and screws, so I will have to order that separate. But in the meantime I can at least attach this. I also put these in the crud cutter in order to clean them up from the rust.
And that's all I'm going to do for today, since I am missing the fuel filler neck, and that is actually back ordered for a little bit. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Anything else you guys would like to see, then feel free to leave it down in the comments down below. And please like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you.